before that, a brief summary about our movie is there's an innocent man that goes to go grab his mail, and not knowing there is a couple who is driving and they're on their phone looking at TikTok, which is something that is very like common these days, knowing that TikTok is very popular. So we thought it was a very natural thing to do, and they are distracted on their phones and they go and they run over this innocent man as he grabs his mail. So the couple leaves the innocent man on the floor and they kind of make a joke about it, like they didn't just run someone over, and they kind of just brush it off, even though they clearly just committed a hit and run. So when they get home, the couple kind of argues about what happened, and Gianmarco cares a little bit more than Anna does. Anna is kind of a little bit more nonchalant, laid back. Gianmarco says things like, what if he finds out who did it? And the purpose of this was so that this way we can foreshadow that Ronald is going to be coming for revenge. At the end, when Ronald appears at Anna's door, he comes back with his crutches, which was actually perfect for us since in real life he really did break his leg, and it was a problem for us during the pre-production, the filming, and even the editing, because his leg would pop out already being broken. And so that was just like a really big issue for us. So we decided to focus more on Anna being Ronald's target for vengeance, because she is the one that originally hit him and is the one that still brushed it off at the end. And that is how we came up with our title, Sweet Revenge. So we ended there with a black screen and a cliffhanger so that our audience can create their own ideas about what is going to happen next. So now back to the question, how does my product use or challenge conventions? First, let's talk about how it uses conventions. So first, a lot of drama dramas revolve around revenge, and my film sticks to that. Ronald isn't just a random victim, he turns into like a classic revenge-driven antagonist. Instead of calling the cops or trying to get justice in a legal way, he takes matters into his own hands, which is something that you see like a lot in crime drama stories. Another way is that we use cross-cutting to make that stalking scene more intense. When we switch between Anna reading and Ronald sneaking up on her, that was a way for us to build tension because the audience knows something that Anna doesn't know. That dramatic irony like always keeps people on edge, which is exactly what crime drama films aim for, and I think we achieved that. Also, our match cuts for smooth transitions, instead of making the film feel like very like choppy, we use match cuts to keep everything flowing. And the best example is when Anna shuts the car door and we cut into her opening the house door. It keeps the momentum going and it's conventions in a very nice and creative way. And lastly, crime dramas also tend to be like very serious, but we also added a lot of irony. Instead of Anna and Gianmarco freaking out after hitting Ronald, they just laugh it off, and the reaction is so unexpected that it actually makes the moment darker, which kind of also fits in for the crime drama vibe. So even though I just mentioned this as a way to use conventions, the way that they reacted was not so normal, so it also did challenge conventions. Usually in a crime drama, when people commit a crime, they panic or they try to cover it up, but we flip that by having them laugh after the hit and run instead of freaking out. And it's like they don't even care, which makes the scene like feel darker in a weird, funny way. Another way that it challenged conventions was most crime dramas are super serious, but we threw in some irony. Anna crashing because she's distracted on her phone, the whole stereotype of girls don't know how to drive, also makes it funny, but it is kind of messed up. Instead of forcing a dramatic moment, we kind of leans into like a humor type of thing, which isn't usually what you would see in crime films. It's not as common. So usually the stalker in a crime drama is just a villain, but here Ronald actually has a reason for revenge. Usually stalkers are also the bad guys in a movie, but in our movie some people can be inclined to actually root for Ronald, flipping the usual crime drama setup where the victim is the one that we feel bad for. And lastly, another way that our movie challenges conventions is the trailer style storytelling. Most crime dramas build up suspense slowly, but we kind of just jump straight into action, making it feel more like a trailer. So instead of explaining every little thing, we let the shots and edits do the work, which kept everything very fast paced instead of slowly building it up. So now to answer the second part of the question, how does it represent social groups or issues? So first, back to what I mentioned previously, the girls can't drive stereotype. We play this into a joke that girls are really bad drivers and that they don't know how to drive by making Anna be the one to crash because she was distracted on her phone. It's funny, but in reality, it's a real issue that happens every day. People actually get into accidents because of their phones. So it is very important to not be driving while you are distracted. So another way that our movie represents social groups or issues is people not taking responsibility for their actions. Anna and Gianmarco clearly hit someone and they kind of laugh about it instead of freaking out. And this kind of reflects how some people are very privileged and they don't face consequences and just move on like nothing happens. And that is not okay. Now everyone in that situation is screwed over because of one person not being able to take responsibility. So this connects me to my next issue of people being desensitized. So some people don't take things seriously anymore, whether it's because of social media or they just don't care, or they act like it's not a big deal. This is something that happens a lot in real life, and that is also not okay. Like, we cannot be having hit and runs happen and it just being brushed off. And lastly, my movie represents social groups or issues because of the revenge and the power shift. So at first, Ronald is the victim, but by the end of it, he's the one in control stalking Anna. This flips the usual idea that victims are powerless, and it connects to how some people let revenge take over instead of dealing with things the right way. But if Ronald would have just let whatever happened go, then he wouldn't be in Anna's room to begin with. And instead, he just let his anger fuel his actions, making everything worse than it already was.